Yeah, which brings us to today. So today, Venus Day, Friday the 13th. Last Friday the 13th we had was when they shut down the world. Interesting to think about that, huh? Yeah. Yeah. Look at that. Here we are. We're completing a cycle. That's what's happening right now. So when we start to view our lives from a more expanded version, we'll begin to see the cycles as they come. These cycles as they come offer us an opportunity. We have the opportunity to take a new path or go in a similar direction. So this is the cultivation of, well, the transmission of information into wisdom in our lives. Every experience offers us information. These experiences that come to us, it's like, okay, this is what I did, this is how I engaged, this is the resulting outcome. Okay, I can see that. And then there might still be an energetic charge and maybe not. And the universe says, okay, we're going to bring you back to this or something very similar. And then you have the opportunity to take the information that you garnered from your experience and apply it to your life, thus cultivating wisdom. Or you can not apply the information to your life and stay in a state of ignorance, you could say, and repeat the same cycle ad infinitum, as long as you want, forever. I don't choose that for myself. I do not consent. I hope you guys are feeling the same. There's a couple of big things. So for those of you that don't know, I've just completed, actually it's been amazing. It's also been a lot. I spent about a month in Peru. As soon as I got back, I had a little bit of integration time, then back out again, making more connections in LA. And then I had a salsa competition in Reno. Kind of got a lot going on. But the thing that's really been coming through all of these things, so again, looking at the experiences in our lives, are we seeing the bigger picture? Are we seeing the value of the experience? Are we seeing the value of the struggle? Are we seeing the value of the challenge that's coming in our lives? If you've been coming to my classes before, this is a lot of what we've been talking about. This is a lot of what's been coming up is value. How are we valuing ourselves and our experiences? How are we valuing our relationships? Are we valuing ourselves in our relationships? And this is, so Venus is appreciation of beauty and also relations and these different things, and well as today's Goddess Day. And so with that, this value, like, are we valuing ourselves enough to learn from the experiences that we've had and move forward? Now, going back to the expanded view, every time something comes to your life, there's a message, there's a teaching. And in that teaching, are we seeing that? Are we moving forward with that? And so the big thing that I can say for myself in these travels, so Peru is considered the navel point of the earth. According to Dhruv-The Melchizedek, it's where the Kundalini is moved to back in 2012. So we went to do grid work. That's what we've been doing, is traveling the earth and embodying and imbibing the love frequency, the oneness frequency, and anchoring that into these places and shooting that out. There's a class that Mandeep's been taking over on Mondays called Ascension Tools, and this is what we talk about because this is what's going on. We are literally shifting consciousness. A big thing, so the big teaching from Peru that I've taken and that I've brought through is, and that I've seen in my own life, and I'm anchoring in and crystallizing, that I'm offering to you as a key, as a seed, is that we as a collective have had aeons, potentially, at least thousands of years of learning through suffering. And suffering is a valuable tool. It's a great teacher. It shows us amazing things. It forces us to change. The opportunity that's present now, that I see in my life, that I'm crystallizing in my being, that I'm embodying daily, moving forward, choosing to move forward with from this moment on, is the value and the actuality that we can learn through love. This is the opportunity that exists here now. Because the thing is, a lot of us have still been focused so much on, and this is the classes before, all leading up to this energy that's been leading up to this is, oh man, this situation is so challenging. This is so hard. I wish this was different. And it's like realizing, okay, well, what I have is what I need, and what I need is what I have. So if what I need right now is the challenge that I'm faced with, how do I learn to love the challenge? How do I learn to accept the challenge? What I found through my own life is that it's like 3 steps. The first is gratitude, like being thankful. Well, how can you be thankful for something that's really challenging in your life? You have to have a bigger picture. You have to have a larger scope. Because if you can zoom out from your life and we come to a realization, which you could say it's an internal belief system, which that's a whole other thing we'll talk about another time, but you can come to a place of believing that there's something bigger than yourself that is guiding you. There's energy that's constantly flowing. Life is never out of alignment. Nature is never out of alignment. It's constantly flowing. It's constantly doing its thing in perfect symmetry, or not symmetry, but perfect alignment, perfect timing. And we are a part of that divine nature. We are in this 3D embodiment in nature, imbibing these things, imbibing this energy as it goes through us. So in that, when things present themselves in our field that we are dissonant with, on the one hand, it's us saying, I know better than Creator, so it needs to be different. And creation is like, actually, it's what's here, so it's what you need. So in that space, we can say, okay, this may not be what I would have chosen in the past. Listen to these words. This is really powerful. This may not be what I would have chosen in the past, but I choose in this now to view this moment as if I chose it. Think about that. I'm choosing in the here and now to view this moment as if I chose it, trusting that what is here is what I need for my optimal growth and development. That these lessons, these challenges, these trials are harmonizing me. It's the fire that, the metal goes into to be hammered. There's a lot of stress that goes into manipulation, into refinement. Crystals, diamonds, I use this analogy a lot. How do they get formed? Through heat, through pressure, through stress. Exactly. And so the shift that we have the opportunity to make now in our lives, in ourselves, for the collective, really, is that do we want to continue to view the stress of the experience as something that we don't want? Or do we say, you know what, I accept it. I accept it and I trust that what is here is what I need. Because it's here. Otherwise, I wouldn't need it. Otherwise, it wouldn't be here. Otherwise, it would be something else. And so this is bringing us into the moment, the present moment, out of the past, out of the depression for things didn't go the way that I wanted them to go, and out of the anxiousness of, oh my God, how am I going to respond or react in the future to this other thing? Brings us back to the here and now. This is what is here in my field now, which is the only time that exists. The only space that you exist is here, now. So that's the shift. That's the key. That's the big key that I've picked up. What I'm realizing is as we go through this journey of temet noske, knowing thyself, this process, we are oftentimes, as we've been conditioned, compartmentalized through society, societal constructs, all these other things. And these compartments that we have accepted ourselves into being are waiting to be unlocked, waiting to be open. And so as we go and start this journey, there's the initial phase of, man, my life is really challenging or it really sucks and I can't do this anymore. I'm just over it. Oh my God, I'm ready for change. That's the first. It's like, okay. Then you start to see all the ways in which you've led to where you are, and you're like, man, I've been a shitty person. This really sucks. Oh my God. Dark night of the soul hits. It's so challenging. What am I going to do? And then the reality starts to set in. Wait a minute. Like, I can see every way in which I seemingly took actions that led to where I am, which it may not be where I want to be, because there's a lot of suffering in my life, but those actions that I took, I can do similar things to move me into a better place. Now we started the journey. Now we started the healing journey. We're empowering ourselves. We're no longer the victim in our lives. We're an active co-creator in our lives. And as we begin to move forward, we begin to say, okay, well, what's going to be the best thing for me in this moment? What's going to help me with my family trauma? What's going to help me in my relationship? What's going to help me in my job? Maybe it's a psychology book. Maybe it's a good friend. Maybe it's a psychiatrist. Maybe it's yoga. Maybe it's meditation. We're picking up keys. Now, all of a sudden, as you're going through the journey, there's things that have been helping you. And people are starting to see this light emitting out of you, seeing a vibrance that they didn't notice before. And then they start to come to you. Hey, there's something different about you. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But if they do, now you can offer them a key. They don't have to do it. They don't have to take it. They can throw it on the ground. It doesn't matter. You've already used it. This key, yoga, Kundalini, we're all here. We know about this key. It's dope. This is a dope key for sure. But this key, we can offer it to someone, be like, hey, you know what? This really opened up something in my life. Like, maybe come to a class. Maybe try it out. Do a breath of fire for 3 minutes a day. Whatever. Now you have a key that you've offered. So as we continue this healing journey, we start to get this big ring of keys. Maybe it's books that you've read that really changed your life, movies that you've watched, documentaries, food choices, supplements, ways in which you can view yourself. This is where we're headed. This is what we're doing. This is the shift that's happening. We're realizing that the keys are less external and more internal. And when we start to offer those keys, the keys of perspective, we're really facilitating change. We're offering the opportunity to facilitate great change. No one has to take it. This is the power of free will, but this is the offering. It's that you in the here and now, because I in the here and now am making the choice. I do not consent to learn through suffering anymore. I know that I don't have to. I now affirm that I'm ready in the here and now to learn through love, moving forward into infinity, forever. Love is the greatest teacher. This is the internal keys, the way we can view our lives, the way we can view ourselves. And so today, 13 lunar cycles, 13 moons. This is the day of the goddess. There's a story that Friday the 13th, there was like this, the only time one of these big banksters got arrested was on Friday the 13th. And ever since then, it's been a bad luck day. Go figure. We've been living in an upside down world, told that we have to learn through suffering. Most of the stuff we've been told by, whatever this is, has been totally backwards, 100% backwards. The idea that external is how we facilitate internal. It's totally backwards. The only thing that you can say exists isn't me, isn't this plant, isn't this room, is actually yourself. That's the only thing you can say really exists, because everything you're perceiving is happening inside of you. It's being processed inside of this vessel. So philosophically, we can't say with any certainty that anything outside of us exists. Yet we're trying to base our reality, our internal state, off of our external surroundings. Oh, I'll be happy if. I'll be satisfied if. I'll be successful if. I'll love if. Then I can really accept it. So it's time to flip it. So as we start to change this, because right now what we're seeing is, I have thought for a long time, actually my whole life, I've been pretty sure that I've been here for a really big something, whatever that is. And more I'm realizing it's the thing of me. Like, it's me, holy cow, like the shift that changes in me, because I'm the only thing that exists in my reality, and you are all beautiful reflections of that. And as the changes happen within myself, I'm seeing it more and more potently in everyone that comes into my field. This is the reality of the work. You start to see it. Your life starts to become magical. The people you start to meet are literally wizards. You're meeting like magicians in the real life. The world is shifting. A lot of cinema and stuff is depicting this to us. Like what's the one? Game of Thrones. If you watch it, it doesn't matter. But it's a time. They're depicting a time where they're going from no magic into magic. That's what's happening in our reality. Like, we're coming out of this kind of stale stagnation that has been in a lot of ways thrust upon us, which we've accepted, we've acquiesced to. And now we have the opportunity to say, no, I don't consent to that. I do not consent to that any longer. So in the here and now, I'm going to make a new choice. Holy cow, you're empowering yourself. You're calling upon all of your energy to come into the here and now. Now, what do you want to affirm? How do you want to live? Do you want to live, so in this moment, so in this space, a lot of times where people go is, oh, I want this job, and I want this person to love me, and I want, my family to come around, and we've been struggling. That's okay. That's one side of it. But if we can focus on the energetics of it, like, how do you want to feel? If you were to conceptualize what it would be to live your highest timeline, to embody your favorite version of yourself, you can think about it. That helps. Do your best to feel it. You start to feel that, this is when change happens. This is magic. Real magic is conscious intent with feeling. This is how we create. Quite literally, we are conscious creators that have been creating unconsciously. So now as we begin to take our power back, realize the process, how it works, we realize that we've been creating out of a state of suffering, not based in the present moment. Because we've been so consumed by all this other stuff that's outside of us, that's been throwing us off our center and all these things, which it happens. I do the same. I get pissed off. I get frustrated. I have to come back. I do some breath work, whatever. I come back. I'm like, okay, man. Okay, I missed my meditation this morning. I'm feeling it right now, for sure. But then you come back. You come back to that space. And that's been this work that we're doing, me and some really amazing people as we're going around the world doing this stuff. This is what we're doing. We're going to these powerful places, and we are feeling what it feels like as we are actualizing our highest timelines, the most beautiful versions of ourselves in the here and now. We're feeling that so viscerally in our bodies. We are sending that down into the core of the earth and out beyond. It's magic. quite literally. Class on Monday, Ascension Tools, we're going to talk a little more about the solar flash and different things, what this could mean. Give you a little teaser. It's not a flash from the sun. It's a flash from you and me. That's it. When we make the shift inside of us, when we send that beam up, that reflects back down. It's not something outside of us. This is a big shift that's happening in me as well. Like, this is why I'm sharing it. Because this is what it always is. We have to start inside first. And then we move out, we see it reflected out. And so in that, if you're finding, usually in the beginning, we look at our lives because our life has been stressful. And we're like, okay, I gotta love this. Oh boy. You start there. You start where you are, because that's where you are. And eventually you start to see, okay, in this situation, in this relationship, in this job, with this stressor that keeps coming around, a year ago, I handled it very differently. I have gratitude because I can see how I am cultivating wisdom in my life. I'm learning from these lessons, from these trials that are coming into my life, because this process of life never changes, it never ends. If you exist, you will always exist. The laws of energy. You are an energetic being. You are an electromagnetic being that never stops existing. So yeah, your physical life may end, but life does not end. So this process of growth and revelation and learning never stops. So if you can learn to love the process, stop focusing on a destination, now all of a sudden you can be in gratitude, peace, and love all the time. This is the great teaching. It's what all these guys are teaching. It's love. Love of what? Love of yourself, love of the moment. Why? Because you're the medicine. The moment is the medicine, and the moment is working through you. That's the power of this. It's the power of who and what we are. Man, this has been intense, right? But it's real. Like, that's the thing, it's real. And so when we start to feel this and feel it in our bodies, like, we start to see it changing the world around us. And it's exciting. And I'm honored to be here to share these things and to have receptive souls that are here ready to do some work.